John, Hummingbird, Simon.
Yes.
Pleasure to have you here.
Yes.
In this festival and in this beautiful zone we created here. What's special about Poland Tantra Festival?
Well, this time it's special because it's my second time. It's like feeling like I come home a little bit. The way I was greeted, and because we have about, I don't know, there's a good third of the festival that are repeaters, which is amazing. So for me, it's like a beautiful playground of transformation. I think that's the word I like to use this time. And I remember before saying how I personally feel that the Polish people, if they are in on something, they are in. And that's what I feel. I feel a sense of like really a curiosity. And, you know, people are coming from all around the world, which is wonderful. We've got international beings here coming now as well. And at the same time, the Polish beings are really dedicated. And this is personal to me, but they are friendly, you know?
Polish people?
Yes. I say that sometimes to Polish people and they say,
Are we?
Yeah, that's how I receive you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I start to seeing more and more, but I feel like it is also being part of this community that makes us
Yes.
more friendly.
Yes.
More friendly. Okay. Emotional release. That was loud, or probably the loudest workshop of all of the festival. Why it's so important to release what stays in us. And what stays in us?
Yeah. So I use this word, it was called emotional release initiation. The word I like to add to it is actually emotional empowerment.
Okay.
Because the emotions are holding a lot of our power. And when an emotion is neither right or wrong, good or bad, it's either suppressed or expressed. Yeah, so you hear this around now that there's a kind of cliche, of emotions is energy in motion. So we are energy beings. And when an energy is blocked and stored, it can create dis-ease. It disables us. Yeah. So when we are able to feel that emotion and give it life, express it, it doesn't have to be loud either. I mean, it's loud because there's 110 people or more going through a process. That's a heightened sound. But actually, I always say it's about feeling the empowerment of our anger, feeling the expansion of our grief, feeling the euphoria of grief, actually. And through feeling the grief of ourselves and the collective group, we're also welcoming in the grief of the wider collective, the planet. So I always say that these festivals are like acupuncture points. We are doing the work on ourselves and then doing the work on the collective. That's what I've always said and that I'm interested in. So emotions for me hold a lot of our power, potential, possibility. And when we can let it move, it's euphoric. It's blissful. Yeah. Sadness, for example, tears are like cleansing tears of truth. It's like letting the tears flow, and then after you feel so soft. No?
Absolutely. Like swimming in the ocean. Right after, that's the feeling. Yeah. So it sounds like you mentioned acupuncture and how we store these blocks of energy in our body. I guess it can influence our health too.
Yes.
When we do that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But it becomes toxic. So the idea is like somatically, you've probably experienced this, right? Yeah. So you can just start thinking a bad thought all day long and you start to feel lethargic, depressed. Maybe some anxiety comes. Then another thought comes in and it triggers an old part of your, anxiousness when you were younger or a part there. Then all of a sudden you're in a regression back to some other part. You're not even here now. Most of the time we're playing in either past experiences, wounds that have been activated, or future projections. So, when we do this work of breath, movement, sound, touch, we arrive here.
Yeah.
We're more here. I released that anger or I did some movements and I feel more connected. I feel more here. And everyone can do that. It's not like some big revelation, but we haven't been given the tools.
Yeah. Could it happen though that, well, I may run, I may scream, and after all I feel actually like I opened some Pandora box and I feel much worse than I used to feel?
Yeah, so this is a fear that comes up. But one piece I say on this, many beings over the years of doing this often say, if I activate my anger, if I allow my anger, it will never stop. You may have heard that. Yeah? Or some say, I started crying and it's like the tears, they don't stop coming. So just the fact that is a fear in and of itself that prevents a lot of people even going there. So what do? How do you feel? Okay.
I'm great.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's all right. Weather is lovely today.
You know, that's a very British. I think we Polish, we don't really do
What do you do in Poland?
We Polish, I feel like it's more like same old, like it's not such a good expression, you know? But I feel like that's also like coming back to what you say about Polish people. There's some authenticity in this. That's when a Polish person usually asks like, how are you? They actually mean it. Like if they ask you, which doesn't always happen, right?
Yeah.
They actually want to know what's there.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Across, I'm generalizing, of course. I mean, across the field, we don't have time to necessarily say, I feel angry. If you ask me how I am, I'm like, how long do you have?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But the piece that maybe is clear is that there is a fear about feeling. It's scary to feel. It's very beautiful, but it's scary to feel. So you ask the question, if I open up, will it be like Pandora's box, and will I potentially, it's going to be more painful? That's why we have these experiences. That's why we have festivals. That's why we have facilitators to support the process that can take how you move your emotions and me and anybody else. It's very unique. It's not, oh, just do this technique, and you're fine. No. I like to see us as explorers of consciousness. You know, I'm exploring this intelligent, vast, unknown being. Yeah. And I meet you and you give me a new reflection to see some part of me that I didn't know, because we are a collective field of consciousness. I'm just a piece of that. And in that piece, I'm whole, right? It's wild. And so these experiences of shared group experience, you know, with beings that have some understanding of trauma and how to deal with trauma when it comes up, and how to breathe and how to regulate the nervous system. I mean, was you taught about nervous system at school in Poland?
Not really, no. In England? Do you talk about it?
No, nobody ever told us. I never remembered being told anything about a nervous system, or that if I get overwhelmed and anxious, I can do some breathing to regulate myself. And some of this stuff, it sounds simple for us because we're doing this for a long time now and we hear it. But still out there I don't want to say out there in the world, but you know, still across the field, it's not so known, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so I know Tantra is about a lot of things. And I would say not all of these things are for kids. But if you could place something for like the book for the kids to learn from it in school, what would you take from Tantra to put there for the youngest to actually learn the beauty of Tantra?
Well, we have to first, I guess, be a little bit distinctive of Tantra and Neo-Tantra, because I do think that's important. And at the moment in our world, there is this, you know, actually, fortunately or unfortunately, there's a kind of conflict now between those that practice classical Tantra and those that practice Neo-Tantra. Whereas the whole idea of Tantra on the whole is union. So what we start to see is fragmented parts of all different things. Oh, this is this technique. This is not Tantra. This is Osho. This is also, for me, causing a lot of distraction from the real root of what we're doing. which is how can we go into the path of truth? What is truth? And you and me and everyone here, it's like this is different versions of that.
Yeah.
But if everybody is able to put their piece in, then there's a different truth that can arise that we can all be like, where there's an acceptance of diversity. There's all these different variations. There's some infinite possibilities in the quantum field.
Oh yeah.
Infinite.
And we have the excess of it. Like you can do meditation, you can do yoga, you can do tantra, you can do Buddhism, you can be Christian, and there's so many options. And in the end, they are supposed to let us to be the better human towards each other.
Yeah.
So from Neo-Tantra, Tantra, from what we are practicing here, what would you put for the youngest to be better on themselves, to not to lead to these problems we sometimes experience as adults from suppressing our emotions, for example?
Yeah, I would say, I just spoke to a mother here.
Okay.
And she's been doing Tantra and Neo-Tantra for 8 years. And she has a little 6-year-old daughter. And so when we do the transformation on ourselves and we come back to a space of love, not just the concept, not the philosophical love, that I am whole and complete. I am a miracle. I am here. I exist. I matter. Yeah. And I can learn to understand these different parts of the nervous system and my emotions, and I become more emotionally fluid. Yeah. I'm more in my center, you could say. Yeah. Then I become a parent. I don't bring the blueprint of my ancestral line. I honor my ancestral line. I am here because of that. And I say, I change the blueprint of how I want to be. Yeah. That decision, I don't know if we can call that Tantra, but that decision to not continue the line, I think that is consciousness changing humanity. Consciousness is doing us. It's not Simon, it's not Simon, it's not Vicky, it's like consciousness is doing us. But do we hear that? Do we wake up enough to see it? So for the children, it's like love, teach them love, remind them that they're already whole and complete. Learn not to shout at them when they try and explore new things. Yeah. You didn't see anybody shouting at anybody here for the last 6 days. Maybe.
Unless they want to. Yeah.
But it's like, can we bring in a deeper acceptance and a trust that there is something greater than us? But that's a process, and we have a lot of conditioning. Yeah, that's a long answer, but it's not one thing for the children, but for me, it always comes back to this: do I belong? Am I experiencing love? And can I love all parts of myself? All parts. There's a wonderful book called No Bad Parts, and I love that. No? So if there's no bad parts, if I look out here and I see you, and I don't judge you as wrong or bad, something changes here. So that would be, an invitation. A simplified one would be to let the children know there are no bad parts, and that with love, we can allow them to explore the diversity of life.
Yeah. Because sometimes there's so much shame in kids, like right from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I feel like it resonates with me a lot, that it could already give them the feeling of just being with there and exploring and being in the world and being with other people. Yeah.
And I guess if me and you didn't have shame and these other things which are, on some level part and parcel of the human experience, would we have gone on this path, and would we be sitting here now talking about it?
Exactly. Yeah. The good and bad, they brings us to where we are.
Yeah.
So shall we have great gratitude for all of them?
Gratitude, if we can. It's many philosophies talk to all is well in all of creation, or the one is in the all is in the one. No, this deeper acceptance of life. Yeah, but that's not so easy when you see somebody being abused.
Yeah,
you see somebody going to war, and we're seeing wars, popping up, and there's a lot of violence. But then Tantra is also talking about the different polarities and the horizontal, the vertical, the way of looking at all. So I guess it's given us a broader perspective on how to respond to what we see, as opposed to falling into the trap of just becoming another version of the violence and the abuse and pain that we kind of resist, that we think is out there, but actually is inside here. Yeah. So if we do the work here, we transform from the inside out. And that for me, if we're doing that, I said to this other being, we're a team. If all of us doing our little piece is a contribution to the whole.
Yeah. The more people who come to this conscious path and clear communication and seeing people and being present, I feel like the world, I hope, will be a better place.
Yeah.
Will start to be.
Yeah, and maybe but it's your internal world is. Your internal world already is, right?
Yeah.
And mine is. So when I look out there, like these trees right now, they don't have a problem, right?
Do they?
I don't think, I mean, I don't know. I'm projecting on them. Like they might
Maybe.
they might need their own tantric workshop. But I don't know if the world, at the moment, it seems that so much of what we see as destruction, devastation, it can be perceived in many different ways.
Yeah.
On a greater perspective, she may be just doing exactly what she needs to do, and if that means even wiping us out as a species, then we will be wiped out as a species. All I can do is my little piece, and that's like when somebody does something to me, I don't react with violence and anger. It doesn't mean I never get angry, but if I can see the anger come up, don't point it outward and blame, but go, okay, that's coming up for me. What inside me is angry right now? Let me be with that. Let me move that. So I don't contribute to more fire, more wood on the fire. And that's a personal practice.
And it's a process to reach this point.
Yeah.
So here we have some time and playground, as you said, to play with it. Hopefully there will be another edition. Do you feel like it's a place that's needed for people? Do you feel like it should be bigger? Do you think like it should happen more often?
Well, I'm seeing them pop up kind of all around the world at the moment. No? A woman came up to me in the morning breakfast and she said, do you know if there's a festival like this in Italy?
Is there?
I said, I don't know. I said, I'm sure there must be one popping up. She said, maybe in Rome. I said, why? Are you Italian? She goes, I'm Polish and Italian. And I'd like to go into the homeland as another part of her homeland. So I'm seeing these spaces myself emerge more and more. Yeah. Now we're also a young species in transition. So there's also a lot of, are they growing? And I feel we need it. Otherwise they wouldn't be here. They must have some service. And one thing I will share with you. Yesterday I went to one of I'm a body worker as well. So I do body work. And I went to one of the massage journeys and we focused on just some small areas of the body with a lot of presence and care. And what arises in the space is it's really hard to put into words. And even at the moment in social media and on some of these platforms that are depicting this stuff in just short video increments, for me can be a little bit, I don't want to say, it's sensitive.
Yeah.
Because you cannot really portray what is happening. If I do a bodywork session or I work with the body, maybe for 3 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, a being is going through a whole emotional, psychological, unknown experience. Yeah. But if you just go, oh yeah, Tantra massage is going to free you, it's like, Yeah, maybe 10 Tantra massages. And maybe you have certain wounds and traumas that you also need psychological support as well as massage, as well as something else. So it's not just like, oh yeah, we're just going to do Tantra and everything's going to be resolved. But what I received yesterday was humbling. Because many beings were able to connect to a part of themselves that is alive. And that aliveness is in us all. But the blocks and the barriers have to be felt so they can integrate and dissolve. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then there's an aliveness that's there. And so, for me, let us come alive before we die. We're dying every day. Every breath we take, we are getting closer to the last moment when there is no more breath. So Neo-Tantra and Tantra, as I understand it, but definitely the Neo-Tantric practices with the transformation, with the relationships, with the breath, the movement, the sound, the touch, learning about how to cultivate our own energy. I don't know about you. How do you experience? I experience more aliveness.
Oh yeah.
And when I see others and they come alive, they're like, I'm alive. Like, I remember, some say to me, I remember this when I was young. I remember this when I was 5. I had a memory. And I can be playful. Yes, it's okay to be playful.
And then even the Polish people who are perceived as the very cold ones in the world. Yeah. We are the super welcoming, and you as a British person, you feel super welcome here. Mm. So I feel it's a lot about this community and what it changes to reach this point of just being with ourselves and release the anger, release the emotions that are blocking us, and just be open to welcome the world and us with love.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Mm. That was magnificent. Magnificent.
Magnificent, darling. It was beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much.